Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, depending on where you're joining us from in the world today. It is so wonderful to see you all. And before we get started, I just wanted to invite you to introduce yourselves in the chat and let us know where you're joining from. It's always fun to see where folks are joining from around the world. My name is Annie Campbell Washington. My pronouns are she, hers, and I'm Senior Assistant Dean of Academic Programs and Dean of Students at the Goldman School. It's my pleasure to welcome you here today. This is an information session for the Master of Development Practice program at the Goldman School of Public Policy at UC Berkeley. Thank you, Tina. So first, what we'll do is introduce the team for the MDP program. And I want to just say another couple of words about myself. I am actually an alum of the Goldman School. I graduated in 2000 and went on to a long career in local government, mostly in the city of Oakland, which is a neighboring city to Berkeley. And I came back about 6 years ago and now am in the role where I oversee all of the degree programs. And the Master of Development Practice is a phenomenal program that we're excited to share with you today. And the folks pictured here on the screen are the team that you will get to know most closely while you are a student, but there's also a whole extra set of folks who are part of the student services team. And in addition to the folks that you see here, there is a career coach dedicated to MDP students, and we are currently hiring for that role. So I just wanted to mention that there will be an additional person that you'll be working with very closely. So with that, I'd love to hand it over to Tina to introduce yourself.
Thanks, Annie. Hey, everyone. My name is Tina Kushner. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the Associate Director for the MDP program. I work really closely with our students throughout their 2 years in the program. So I'm really dedicated to the student services side of the program, but also with the admissions and recruiting. So that's why I'm here, and I'm really excited to get to know you all.
Thank you, Tina. And Lilia?
Hi, everyone. I'm Lilia Yuan. I'm the program assistant for the Master of Development Practice program. And I am the program assistant and the curriculum scheduler. So it's great to meet you all.
Thank you, Lilia. And as you can see, there's some notes for the session today. We will record this session and we'll put it up on our website so you can view it again later if you need to. We do ask that you stay muted during the presentation, but at the end, we'll be happy to take questions, and you can either ask those by turning on your camera and your audio and asking directly using the raise your hand feature, or you can place those questions in the chat and we'll be happy to answer. And you can feel free to leave your camera on or off, whatever is most comfortable for you. So I'm going to be joining you today for the introduction, the first few slides, and then I'll be heading out. But I just wanted to say it's really wonderful to see you all, and we're really excited about your interest in the MDP program. Okay, Tina. So our agenda for today is I'll provide an overview of the Goldman School. I'll talk about the Master Development Practice program in general as it relates to the other programs at the school. Tina will be reviewing the admissions requirements and application process and application reminders, and also talk about financing your education. And as I mentioned at the end, we'll have plenty of time for questions and answers. Thank you, Tina. So just to highlight some facts about the Goldman School of Public Policy, our school was founded in 1969 as one of the very first public policy schools in the nation. We're often ranked as the #1 public policy analysis program in the nation, and of course, located at the #1 public university in the country. The development practice program came into our school a few years ago, and now we are the home of development practice at UC Berkeley. We have students have access to graduate programs and classes across the university. When you enroll as an MDP student, you have access not only to the development practice courses at GSPP, as well as other public policy and public affairs courses. You also have access to take courses across the university. And many of our students will take classes at Haas Business School, the Information School, public health, the law school, just to name a few examples. And we are preparing students for a diverse set of careers. So our students come to us with really diverse backgrounds, whether it be in development practice or nonprofit work or private sector. And then our students are preparing while they're in school for the 2 years to go into very diverse careers as well, into the public sector, private sector, and nonprofit sectors. Thank you, Tina. So what sets our school apart? One thing is this very diverse, rigorous educational environment. So you not only have access to the students in your own cohort and the second year MDP students as well, you're also joining a very close-knit community of over 300 students who are studying in the Master of Public Policy program, the Master of Public Affairs, which is our mid-career professional program, as well as a small PhD program. And we have a very large undergraduate minor of over 750 students. So at any one time, all of our students are intermingling in classes. They're taking classes together. They're in shared spaces. We do our orientation together. So you have an opportunity to meet students from across the different programs who really share the same values as you to make the world a better place and to really dig into the hard work of democracy, the hard work of solving public problems. And you really feel when you're a student at the Goldman School that you have found your people. And it's truly an exceptional experience, and one in which you feel as a student, but also as an alum. And when you're a student, you have an opportunity immediately to start interacting with our alums through the alumni network. And that really does help you on your career journey as well. I like to talk about our student and career services that we provide at the school because we are a professional school. So we know that you're coming to study for 2 years to prepare yourself for your career, whether it's the next step in your career and you're looking for a promotion within the part of service that you're already doing, or whether you would like to switch gears and maybe you want to move from nonprofit to the private sector or from the public sector to nonprofit. Many of our students are making that transition. And so we provide career services that help you on your career path, which Tina will talk a bit more about in the presentation. And of course, we are located here in the beautiful Bay Area. You have a chance when you're living here in Berkeley to have easy access to all of the East Bay cities, as well as San Francisco. It's an incredibly culturally rich and diverse place to live. And you have access to all of that as a student. And one thing I skipped over was real world analysis. So all of our programs, we really pride ourselves on digging in and allowing students to work on real problems while they're students. So you have a real chance to try out the new skills that you're learning. We always talk about the toolkit that you are building as a student at the Goldman School, and you have a chance to try that toolkit out while you're a student. So in your first year, you will have an opportunity to work on case studies, to interact with alums, to have a chance to network with alums at some events that we do throughout the year. And then in the summer, you'll be engaged in a 10-week internship where you have an opportunity to practice these skills that you've learned. And then in your second year, you'll actually take on a client project where you're, again, working on a real world problem so that you have a chance to not only learn the skills and really deepen your knowledge, but you also have a chance to practice so that when you're going out and interviewing for jobs as you're getting ready to graduate, you have real things to point to show your work and your skills. Okay, thank you, Tina. So another amazing thing about being a student at the Goldman School is the faculty. We are a really close-knit community, as I mentioned, and the size of the Goldman School community is one that can really wrap your arms around. So we have about 300 students, And those students have an opportunity to develop very close working relationships with faculty, whether it's in the classroom, and it's the faculty who are teaching your core or your elective classes, or whether you decide to take on a research position with one of the faculty, either on their own independent research or perhaps research that's going on at a center. Or you can serve in a graduate student instructor role or a reader role and help out with a class. So there are many opportunities to really build a bridge to faculty, allow them to be mentors for you, and to build those close relationships to help guide you on your path, to help you with research you might be interested in doing, excuse me, and to help inform you as you're figuring out what you'd like to do after graduation. So pictured here in the far left upper corner is David Zilberman. And David is one of the founders of the Master of Development Practice program. He is a faculty member at the College of Natural Resources, but still very engaged in the program and the design of the curriculum. To his right is Jane Malden, and she serves as our interim program director for the MDP right now. She also served as faculty director of our Master of Public Affairs program and was critical to designing that mid-career program and really has a good sense for the types of careers that students are going into after graduation, and is helping with the MDP program right now to really provide an overview and deep dive into the curriculum, and also planning for your careers afterwards and making those connections. We've also pictured here some faculty who teach in the core of the MDP program. So Jen Bussell, who is the top right corner, and Dorothy Kronik, who is the middle picture on the second row, will be teaching the capstone course, which is that course I mentioned in the spring of your final year, where you'll take on a client and do a client project. They are teaching that course this year. And then in the lower right-hand corner is Carlos, a new faculty member who is teaching the intro to development practice this semester for our first year MDP students. And then finally on the far left lower corner is Manisha Shah, and she teaches your core econ course and has fabulous work experience and research going on that the MDP students really are excited about and are getting involved with her. Okay, thank you, Tina. And I'm going to pass it over to you, correct? Or am I doing this final slide? Am I
No, I
passing?
can do this.
Okay, thank you so much. It's great to see everyone. I'm going to put my email in the chat in case you'd like to ask me a question after this is over. But for now, I'm going to sign off, and it's really wonderful to see you all. Thank you for your interest. Thank you, Tina.
Thanks so much, Annie. So the MDP program is a generalist program, meaning that we don't require our students to choose a specific concentration. There are areas that our students will choose to focus on with their elective classes, but again, we don't require a particular concentration. And as a result, we have graduates moving on to careers across all sectors, as Annie had mentioned. And the program really prepares students for careers across organizations working on sustainable development. So you would be joining an alumni network that not only includes GSPP's and MDP's resources, but also UC Berkeley's wide network as well. So here we have a variety of companies, agencies, and organizations that students have worked with, not just after they graduate, but also during their time in the program. For instance, the opportunities that Annie had mentioned for the required internship during the summer between your first and your second year of the program, as well as the capstone project. And then our MDP graduates leave the program being qualified to work across all sectors in roles such as research or program managers, consultants, social impact entrepreneurs, climate and energy, and policy or sustainability managers, executive directors, and more. The skills acquired through our core curriculum will continue to be relevant and applicable whether it's the public, private, or nonprofit sectors. All right, so over the next couple of slides, I'll introduce to you the MDP program, which will include the curriculum, the program and campus resources that we have available, and I'll also be highlighting our programs team. So what is an MDP? An MDP is going to integrate the 4 pillars of sustainable development, which are the health sciences, natural sciences, social sciences, and management. The MDP program allows students to pursue a multi and an interdisciplinary approach to their studies, while also being designed to meet the complex challenges of sustainable development. We have a fantastic faculty here at UC Berkeley, and students will take classes in the Haas School of Business, the School of Public Health, the College of Natural Resources, and of course, here at the Goldman School of Public Policy. Our MDP program specifically is part of a larger network of schools and universities from around the world that have MDP programs as well. So the MDP Global Association was established in 2007 and really had identified the need to train generalists that could think across these different areas of development and identify and work on solutions to these development challenges. So with the Berkeley MDP, we're committed to providing the key interdisciplinary academic training in addition to providing the practical experiences. And again, there are opportunities to do that throughout your time in the program. So our MDP program is a 2-year full-time in-person Master of Development Practice degree. It is a STEM designated program, and it prepares students with the quantitative and the interdisciplinary skills that will be needed as a development practitioner. There is the flexibility to take elective courses from across campus and various departments, so much so that students can choose to explore a variety of topics to focus on if there's a specific area or area of research that students are interested in. And this, for instance, could even include potentially earning a graduate certificate in addition to the MDP. So some of the graduate certificates that we've seen our students become involved with involve food systems. There's one in the School of Information for the Applied Data Science certificate. So there are ways to add specific focus areas within the MDP while also earning the degree. So the MDP program is a total of 50 units, and this includes 10 core classes and a capstone. The first year of the program is designed to give students a core foundation of development, and students will complete courses in economics, decision-making, science, leadership, public health, management, those 4 pillars that we discussed earlier, and policy. In the second year of the program, students will complete any of the remaining core coursework and then take any additional electives that are of interest and work towards completing their capstone, which is the culminating final project in that final spring semester. If we take a closer look at the first semester of the MDP program, students will take foundational coursework in development practice and sustainable resource development, in strategic planning and project management, and a choice to take either an optional introductory quantitative methods course. And this specific course is really meant as a refresher if students haven't taken a statistics or a quantitative course in a little bit, to help prepare them for the quantitative methods and impact evaluation course that's offered in the first year of the spring of their first year. So it's sort of a prereq to that if students are interested and if they want to brush up on their skills. So there's the choice to either take that optional quantitative methods course or one of the core elective requirements that's going to be in natural resources and health sciences or business development, finance, and innovation. The second semester is a continuation of the first with additional coursework in the impact evaluation, in leadership and conflict resolution, in development economics, and in political economy. And then again, over the summer, between the first and the second year of the program, students will complete a required internship. And then in the final year, students will complete any of the remaining core elective requirements that they hadn't been able to take in the first year, and then of course take electives that are of interest to them. to wrap up and to get to the 50 units that are required for the MDP degree. And then it's also in the second year that students start to work towards completing their master's degree capstone, which is in the form of a final project. So overall, the program is designed to provide a foundation of development practice in the first year, and then allow students the flexibility to expand upon these topics in their second year. So our MDP degree and program allows students the flexibility to take courses that they're interested in and that they want to focus on. This list details some of the areas that students have focused on in the past and the departments where they've taken courses outside of the MDP and outside of Goldman School of Public Policy. So many of our students will take courses from the Haas School of Business, from the School of Public Health, from the School of Information and Food Systems. Really, the choices for electives are really endless. There are just so many different departments that students will take courses from in the program. All right, and then with that, I'm going to pass it off to Lilia, who's going to share a bit more about our student and career services.
Thank you, Tina. So the MDP is categorized as a professional degree program. So there's a big emphasis, as we mentioned, on career training, strategy, and support, because we really want you to graduate and have job options as soon as you can. So as part of our orientation, we also have career services orientation. Each student is assigned a career advisor. So your career advisor is going to basically assist you with your professional development here at GSPP. So you're going to have access to the online job board. This is where internships, capstone projects, and also full-time job opportunities are posted several times a week. And there's also the alumni directory. So this is where you can start networking and building connections with alumni as soon as possible. And throughout the year, we also have career services workshops. So there will be resume and cover letter workshops, networking workshops, and salary negotiations as a few examples. And we also host large and small scale networking events, including the annual DC networking trip. This one is actually coming up in a few months, where basically students will go to Washington, DC, and it's a couple days long, where it's basically a huge opportunity for students to network and make connections with future job companies. And another one we have is the Bay Area Networking Reception. So we'll have organized alumni student panels or alumni panels on topics based on student interest, and host employer information sessions and also site visits each semester. Thank you, Tina.
Thank you, Lilia. All right. So we're committed to admitting a diverse cohort of students, and we recognize that it's crucial that students from various backgrounds and identities feel supported. So as you can see here, the campus has several resources that support student life, wellness, and diversity. And I want to highlight just a few of them. So first, we have University Health Services, which supports students in all areas of health. There's the Basic Needs Center and Food Pantry if students are facing food or housing insecurity. We have the Berkeley International Office to support our international students. We have the Student Parent Center to help support our students who have children. We have the Office of Graduate Diversity, and I specifically want to highlight that the Office of Grad Diversity launched the Inclusive Excellence Hub, which is really a unique, welcoming venue where underrepresented graduate students can find camaraderie and build multidisciplinary networks of their peers. They provide really great programming and support in the form of workshops and mentoring opportunities. So again, the Office of Graduate Diversity is a really great resource available to our students. we have the Undocumented Students Program, the Gender Equity Resource Center, the Multicultural Community Center. So again, these are just a few, but there's so many more that are available on campus. We also find that many of our MDP students get involved with student groups. So we have a really engaged community here, and joining a student club is another great way to get involved and be a part of the community. We have a number of different clubs here at GSPP, some of which I listed here, but there are also so many more that are listed on our website. If you don't see a club that's of interest, chances are that you can create one. So again, it's a really engaged community with a lot of different opportunities to be able to get involved. All right, so over the next few slides here, what I'll do is I'll share some information about admissions requirements, share some application tips, and important deadlines to be aware of. So we take a holistic application review approach. So really keep in mind that everything in your application matters to us. We're going to look at each component that you provide to us and review how you shared your qualifications and why you chose to apply to the MDP. We'll start by looking at the UC Berkeley Graduate Division admissions requirements, which includes and requires that all applicants must meet the grad division's basic requirements. And these are 3 different items. So first, all applicants must have a bachelor's degree or a recognized equivalent from an accredited institution. The second is that all applicants must have a satisfactory scholastic average, which is usually a GPA of a 3.0 or a B average on a 4.0 scale. And then third, enough undergraduate training to be able to do graduate work in your chosen field, so within development practice. So again, these are the basic and minimum requirements to be admitted to the graduate division without an exception. Also, all applicants who have completed a basic degree in a country or region in which the official language is not English are also required to submit valid TOEFL or IELTS scores. So more details about the language proficiency is outlined on the graduate division website. Your commitment to development practice should also be demonstrated in your 2 required essays as a part of the application, the personal history statement and the statement of purpose, as well as your letters of recommendation. So the personal history statement is going to typically be around 1 to 2 pages and is going to be your personal narrative. It should address how your personal experiences informed your decision to pursue graduate school and the MDP. And this is an area where you can explain any obstacles that you've overcome to get to this point. The statement of purpose should focus more on your academic and your professional experience and would address your past, your present, and your future, and what you are looking for with the MDP and how you see everything fitting into the MDP. The statement of purpose is typically around 3 to 5 pages long. There's more information about both essays listed on our website and in the application itself. So I definitely recommend checking out those links and how you can go about approaching each of those essays. With letters of recommendation, the most helpful letters are going to be those who have come from supervisors. So anyone who supervised your work in either an academic, in an employment, or in a community service setting. So really those that can evaluate your academic abilities, your experience, and who can speak to your promise and development practice. And we require 3 letters of recommendation for the MDP. And ideally, we would like to have 1 letter from an academic recommender. GSPP's MDP program does require quantitative skills. So applicants have the option of submitting either official GRE scores or a quantitative resume to highlight your quantitative experience in the academic or professional setting. No preference will be given to either option. The admissions committee is looking for evidence that you can handle the quantitative rigor of the program. If you decide to submit a quantitative resume instead of the GRE, please be sure to review our website and the checklist for the required format. We have a very specific format that we're asking applicants to use, and there's an example on the website as well as the template that can be used. So again, we need either GRE scores or the quantitative resume. So there is this required component, but you can choose which way you would like to fulfill this application requirement, whether it's GRE scores or the quantitative resume. We'll also be asking you to submit a detailed resume that showcases what you've done and what you've been working on. So there's no page limit for the resume. We just want to see what you have been working on. And I also want to highlight that the quantitative resume is not the same as the traditional resume. There can be some overlap with the two, but they should not be identical documents. We don't want to be receiving duplicate documents for these two separate requirements. And then last but not least, we'll also be reviewing your academic history, and we'll be placing primary weight on your undergraduate advanced GPA. The advanced GPA typically includes the courses that you would have taken during the last 2 years of undergrad for those who completed a 4-year bachelor's degree. And then here we have some statistics from the current 2 cohorts to give you just a general sense of the cohort and the students who are a part of it. At the very bottom here, we also include average age and work experience along with ranges. And I want to highlight that while these are averages, we have students who are on the higher and on the lower end of these ranges. And again, that we take a holistic approach to the application review, and we value all experiences that our students bring to us and bring to the cohort and to the program. And we really encourage you all to apply and hopefully become part of this wonderful community. All right, so before moving on to the finances part of the webinar, I want to make sure that I highlight some important points and reminders about the application itself. So first, the application deadline is going to be December 3rd. Please take note of this deadline because we do not offer rolling admissions or accept late applications. Also be sure to review our MDP application checklist on our website. Again, everything is important, and we will look at everything that's submitted to us. The resume, the traditional resume, is required for the MDP application, and we don't have a page limit. We require 3 letters of recommendation. 1 should be from an academic recommender. We'll ask you to upload all unofficial electronic transcripts as a part of the application. You do not need to be sending hard copies to the Goldman School. Everything can be uploaded, unofficial transcripts as a part of the application portal. You should be submitting either official GRE scores or a quantitative resume. Again, both are not necessary. You can choose one, and there will be no preference between one or the other. All test scores must be submitted electronically and are due by December 3rd, the application deadline. And this is going to include the GRE, the TOEFL, and IELTS scores. The statement of purpose and the personal history statement are required. The application fee is $135 for US residents and $155 for international applicants. US citizens and permanent residents may request a fee waiver if they're eligible by following the instructions and completing the waiver form in the payment section of the application. Unfortunately, international students are not eligible for the fee waiver. There is more information about fee waivers on the graduate division website. And please note that we at MDP do not manage fee waivers. They are fully managed by the graduate division, so we do not process application fee waivers. And then finally, please take note of the status page on the application website. Once you submit your application, you can't make changes to it, but you can log back into the application system to monitor the status of the different materials that we receive or that are processed. So for instance, if you request a fee waiver from the graduate division, or if you have test scores or letters of recommendation, you can see when those are received and what pieces are still outstanding. All right, so we're close to the end with our last section, and we'll take a look at financing and talk about financing your education. Graduate school is a huge investment, so it is important to consider the costs and how much you can invest in your education. There are a number of options to help fund your education, so we'll talk about fellowships, financial aid and residency, and graduate student assistantships. So all MDP applicants will be automatically considered for merit and need-based MDP departmental fellowships, including those that are specifically for California residents. The number of students who receive funding will vary from year to year, but we do offer a variety of fellowship packages that may include, as an example, tuition and fee awards, stipends, or a combination of both. We'll also consider and nominate admitted applicants for relevant fellowships that are offered through UC Berkeley's graduate division. So for example, the GOP fellowship is a very generous one-year award for incoming diverse applicants. And that particular fellowship includes 1 year, 1 full year of tuition and fee remission, plus a $10,000 stipend. If this is a fellowship that you're interested in, please select the box indicating interest on the application, and we'll look into your eligibility for this opportunity upon admission. And again, that's within the application that you can request to and indicate your interest for this particular fellowship. We also highly encourage students to seek external special interest fellowships, such as the Ringgold, the Pickering, the Payne fellowships to finance their education. And additionally, there are opportunities through USAID, through MasterCard Foundation, through World Bank, through Fulbright, and through FLOSS. So there are a number of various external fellowships. And again, these are just a few to name. There are so many more that are available out there. So like I was saying, there are so many more additional external fellowships, which can be an excellent option, especially for our international students. We understand that funding can be quite a challenge for international students, and that although they are considered for MDP department fellowships, international students are not eligible for most domestic and federal financial aid. So for these reasons, we really encourage international students to research different fellowship opportunities from private organizations, both within the US, but also in their home country. But of course, despite these challenges, we welcome many international students each year. And it goes without saying that some of the best resources for international students include the Berkeley International Office, which we use the acronym BIO, as well as the International House. And BIO offers information about funding for international students and more. And then the International House offers housing for housing fellowships each year. So again, these are some really great resources, and I highly recommend checking out the graduate division website for the various extramural and external fellowships that are available to MDP students. All right, so all US citizens and permanent residents should submit a FAFSA to be considered for federal financial aid. Even if you receive a fellowship, you may need to take out loans to help pay for any remaining costs like rent and other living expenses. It could also be that some fellowships require the FAFSA as a part of their eligibility requirements. So it can be helpful to complete beforehand. The California residents are assessed less tuition and fees than non-residents. And this is because they're not assessed the non-resident supplemental tuition, or the NRST fee. Because of this, we strongly encourage eligible non-California residents to apply for California residency in year 2. Because if students do this, that means that they wouldn't have to pay the non-resident supplemental tuition in their second year. And the cost difference is quite significant. It's about $13,000 a year. So we definitely encourage anyone who would be eligible to request California residency to do so in their second year. There's more information about this process on the registrar's website. And unfortunately, I do want to note that international students are unfortunately not eligible to apply for California residency for tuition purposes. And then last but not least, another way that many of our students fund their education is through academic student employment positions. These are GSRs, which is a graduate student researcher. A student researcher, for example, might work with a faculty or would work directly with a faculty member on a research project. These are GSIs, or graduate student instructors, which is equivalent to a TA. They can be readers, and readers are roles as part of the instructional team who also support classes and instructors by grading and holding office hours, as well as tutors. So these various on-campus positions are really great because those that are 25% time or more, which is 10 hours a week, so based on a 40-hour work week, the percentage of time, 25%. So those that are 25% time or more do carry some fee remission as well as a salary. So for California residents, the fee remission would cover around half of the tuition and fees for a particular semester. For non-residents, the fee remission would cover around 40% of the tuition and fees. So fee remission is really a significant benefit because it can save students thousands in the tuition and fees, plus allow students to earn a salary. So definitely an option to consider, and one that, like I said, the many of our students end up taking advantage of. All right, so I know we've covered a lot of information here. I want to make sure that I highlight our email because if you do have any questions along the way, I want to really encourage you to reach out to us. We have many resources available on our website as well, whether it's our GSPP bulletin or we have links to one-on-one office hours. I'll be hosting drop-in office hours throughout the fall, and we'll be hosting more info sessions. Next week we'll be doing one on tips to strengthen your MDP application. So there are definitely many resources out there available, and we want you to know that we are here to help support you throughout your application process. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. All right, and then with that, it's going to wrap up the presentation piece, and will take us to the Q&A portion of the session. So again, I recognize that I shared a lot of information here, and there are probably many questions, so I want to open it all up to you. I'll take a look at the chat because I haven't been monitoring that if there's been some questions coming through, but please feel free. You can unmute yourself, ask your question, raise your hand, chat, use the chat tool to ask your question. We'll be here for you. And let me take a look at the chat.